What's up guys, Shouri here, and today we're going to see what Stingray can really do. I'm going to pair it with Orion and Survivor, mostly Survivor though, and we're going to use that not just because it's a good AR at medium to long range, but also because it gives you more of a speed boost than other ARs. So it's going to be able to get us around the map where we need to get to faster, and then we can always pull out the Orion if we really need to up close. But for the most part, we're just going to be going and trying to pick people off from long range, get them near a teammate camping, and make them kill their own team basically just like that. And that's the beauty of this gun. On TDM maps, you can use it, and it's kind of like a very powerful instant shot sniper, and even better, if the other team are a bunch of campers, they get punished for it. You can go out, hit them for a pretty good bit of damage right there, hit a bunch of body shots, or it would have been a triple, and if you can get used to using this and hitting that headshot, it can be really good. One downside is the more instant the shot is, the less accurate it will be. Because your reticle, as you charge it, gets smaller, and that actually makes it more accurate. So if you do it basically as an instant shot, it has a high chance of missing, and it's very rarely going to hit the head like you want. But if you can go ahead and get it all the way charged, it is deadly accurate. So that is one thing to think about. It is really hard sometimes when it's inconsistent and you just don't know why you're missing that instant shot, and it's really just the reticle is so huge that it's going to miss sometimes. But the great news is that's why you pull the Survivor out. It has an insane fire rate, and it is really good in the medium to long range for an AR. So it pretty much plugs in all the holes this gun has. On top of giving the speed boost, it can really just do a ton of work for you. And another cool thing is, when you're making everyone kill their own teammates with your electricity damage, you can also go out and use your Survivor to be able to get bleed damage. And if they sneak up behind you, it is just as good up close as it is at any other distance. So it can really just do work. You just make sure that you don't scope up close, hip fire it, and it will do everything you need it to, and then just go in for the knife. Right there, we just wanted to get a little bit of damage on and then get the bleeds going. That way we would have a heads up when he was coming. I switched to my backup weapon, and instead it gives me a machine gun. That's weird, but yeah, so don't do that. But the game screws up sometimes. What you gonna do? And it is a close game. It is literally next kill wins. We're gonna rush in and try to help, but we don't need to. We had good teammates, and that is such a rarity nowadays. So thank you. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I had pretty good teammates in every one of these games. So thank God for that. And a lot of that might have to do with this gun. And at the end of the video, I'll show you all 10 games that I played. It shows you exactly what I did. I didn't have the most insane amount of kills, but I did have close to double-digit kills and double-digit assists every single game, and we had all blues. And a lot of that, I think, really just had to do with the fact that we're getting a lot of people low, so my teammates didn't have to have too many gunfights where they were fighting someone with full health. It just came down to the simple fact of they had people that were lower than them to fight against, so they died less, they got more kills, more multi-kills, and everything generally worked out better in every single one of these games. And this map in particular is really cool with this gun, because there's a lot of tight corners that many people will go in together, and you can really do a lot with this. Instant shot snipers are definitely better than spinny wheel snipers on this map. But this one in particular does a lot more damage when you have it fully charged, and then you can have a lot of people taking the AoE electricity damage. And when you pair that with something like the Survivor and Orion, you can get really aggressive with it. You can start hitting people right out of their spawn and then rushing in with your Orion and Survivor, or you can take these head glitches and just do work and make sure that your team has the support they need to be able to go in there and get that damage. And that guy was able to come up behind us and get us pretty good. Sadly, our bleed damage didn't actually hurt him. Because he had antidote chest, all our bleeds do is heal him. So that is one thing. If you see a survivor player, a Rochi or crossbow that's kind of getting you pretty good, one thing you can do is use antidote, and their bleeds and poisons will actually start to heal you. So just something to think about. If you end up encountering this problem a lot, maybe have a loadout that's good against those kind of guns, and then use it that way that you can kind of heal off of their bleed damage. It doesn't work all the time, but on maps like this in particular, where it's kind of hard to gun people down with the survivor just straight on out, and it's really good to hit people like just once and then let them bleed, the antidote can make it instead where you're just going to make them heal. Right there, we do end up getting some pretty good shock damage on multiple of their teammates and get them pretty low. Luckily, our teammates did go in there, clean that up. Right here, we know that last one was still alive, so we waited for him. We see a guy right here, and I'm not sure if I should go up or not because I didn't know if that guy would back up or what, but I saw him die, so I'm not going to worry about it. Then we see that guy sticking his head out the window. We go ahead, and we do hit him with the Stingray, and then we go ahead finish the kill with our survivor because that gun's going to do a lot of damage up close, making sure that we go ahead and get the kill. Right there, we see our teammate die, and that means there's definitely this guy coming. We go ahead and kill him for the elimination streak, and we know that somebody's going to come. I just don't know which way they're going to be, so I do want to make sure that we keep it trained there, and we choose right, giving us the one-shot kill and the win. But right here is definitely a different story. As you can see, we're getting some AoE damage off of our electricity shots, but I don't know where any of these people are, and we're down by 100. So we were rushing in, and things just weren't really working out. A lot of these guys stuck together, and our team really didn't. But I decided that, hey, let's go ahead and bring this gun out on this map and see if we can get some bleed damage stuff going, and then get a little bit of the people that are sticking together to die from our electricity damage. I don't normally recommend playing on this map with any type of sniper. It's usually not going to help your team out very much. But if your teammates are already sniping, I mean, you might as well join them. And it really ended up doing some pretty cool stuff, especially because of what this gun in particular does, to where if you shoot someone with it and they have teammates nearby and it takes them all down, it can do a lot against people who are camping in the middle here. And anytime they all rush together, they're all going to get hit by that damage, and it can really screw their team up. And these guys were being really annoying. The reason that they were up by 100 is they were always staying in teams of 2. And that really hurt us in the beginning until I brought this gun out. And, I mean, I didn't even die after that. I don't have any more heals, and I'm literally having to camp a bit, but that's only because we were down by so much. But I'm able to actually support my team pretty well with this gun, and then I'm going to have to move up because all of my teammates are kind of pushing up. The other team realized what's kind of going on, so they stayed back. But when I pushed up, I noticed that I had the AoE shock damage on one of them, so that means there's at least 2 right here, and my teammate who ran through died. So I'm going to stay back and wait for my eye to come up, and then I see there's 3 of them in there, so definitely not going to go in there just charging. I'm going to wait for them all to come. We do end up getting them all low because of our AoE shock damage. Our teammates take out 2, and I'm able to back up with my no health, go ahead, get the headshot domination, and keep my team in this. I am wearing jockey pants, which allows me to get 750 health every single time I get a kill. And right there, we are able to take that guy out and shoot him, giving a little bit of shock damage and getting him low enough for our teammates in the hill to be able to go get him. And by the way, I call the Island Ruins Temple the hill sometimes because it kind of feels like a hill. Oh, but yeah, so if I ever call something a hill on that map, that's what I mean. But we're going to go on, and this gun is really good, especially on zone control, because you can get so many people to go in the exact same spot, and not just in the hills, but also in these little corridors. There's not very many places you can actually go from, so they're going to be either going from the right or the left, and a lot of the times they'll run together so they can have some teamwork, and then even if one dies, the other can cap the hill. This is great, and it is the best idea if you want to win this map. But if the other team is using a Stingray, it can be super annoying and actually help your team out a lot by just making it where it's impossible for them to stick together, or if they keep sticking together, they're just going to lose. And as you can see, this also works on some King of the Hill maps, but only in certain situations. It's kind of hard to explain exactly how that is. I mean, if you don't really know, it's kind of hard to teach. It's one of those things that all snipers kind of have to figure out just by playing many games. And you kind of realize if your teammates are rushing or if they're not, and if you're going to have to rush or not. But basically, you don't want to just use this and sit back. You really do have to go help them get the hill and be willing to go out and kind of push up with it. And it can be really nerve-wracking to use this gun that way. Luckily, Survivor can fill in a lot of those gaps and help you get those wins. But it is something that you need to keep aware of, that you can't just stay back and just do your own thing sometimes. And this gun is really easy to want to camp with, and you got to try to break that by using things like a Survivor, an Orion, and other guns, and make sure that you're pushing up on the map and putting yourself in the middle of the action. Because this gun is not Orochi. It is not meant to just sit back and hit people with. The maximum headshot's like 3,000 something. It's meant to go in there, and when a bunch of them are together, you hit them and you do a lot of damage. And then you bring out your backup weapons like a Survivor or Orion, and then you go in and do your work. Right here, as you can see in my recent games, I didn't have an insane amount of kills in a lot of these games. But I did have a ton of teamwork and a lot of assists, and that is what makes this gun truly amazing. And if you already have Barracuda and Icebreaker, I'd recommend trying to get it. I do want to make sure that I stress that Barracuda and Icebreaker are better snipers than this. And I want to stress that the newer players should be going for those. Those are very important guns, and it is better than this one. But this is a refreshing change of pace, and it can be very good on some maps. So if you already have a Barracuda and an Icebreaker, definitely think this one might be something you go after. But Survivor is also really good in this Battlefare as well. I'm going to try to do a Battlefare stream instead of doing just like a normal Battlefare video like I used to, because it'll give you more chances to look at stuff and you can ask questions live, and maybe I can answer some stuff that I normally wouldn't be able to and show you different things that normally I don't. So we're going to try that out and see if you guys like that format at all, and we'll see what happens. But first, I'd like to thank all the people who donated to me on my birthday. I really appreciate you guys. We had Twiffer, El Loco, Army Panda, Dan or Mr. Fusion, Gunrag, and Peter like 70 times. And Chris. Chris, I love you, buddy. Thank you for that. And all of you guys, for real, from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough. And last but not least, happy birthday, Army Panda. I hope you had a great birthday, buddy, and thank you so much for playing with me earlier. Alright, guys, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you later.